Serious, what is it like to have children you don't want? Using an alt. Because my main can be linked back to me and I'm going to get very real. I had a perfect pregnancy. I was super cautious, took my prenatal vitamin every day, never drank, walked away if someone was smoking near me, etc. My child is severely special needs. She's autistic, but on the severe end with global developmental delay, which is just a nice way of saying mentally disabled. She is 6 but is now just learning to potty train. She is nonverbal but thankfully understands simple directions. She screams for hours off and on at a time every day, and when she isn't screaming she is making noises. She doesn't interact like a normal child and treats other people more like inanimate objects rather than people. No affection, no emotion, no interaction aside from pulling me to the fridge to get her food or handing me her toy so I can fix something on it. I don't feel like a mom, I feel like a caregiver. I get little joy in taking care of her and I am constantly worn down. I'm exhausted. This pandemic has destroyed what little sanity I had left, as I can't even get a small break because there is no school. This is going to sound absolutely terrible and this is why I'm using an alt. But raising her is not like raising a child. You raise a child to be a decent adult, you teach them manners, respect, education and kindness, and you hope that as they grow up they will make friends, get good grades in school and go on to have a fulfilling life. This feels like I am raising a very high-maintenance pet that will not evolve into anything more. For me, I am just keeping her alive. I am keeping her fed, clothed, warm, safe, and happy. It feels like I have been taking care of a baby for the past 6 years. She progresses very slowly and very little. I am hoping by the time she is in her 20s, we can maybe have a simple 1 or 2 sentence conversation, or maybe she can have the attention span to watch and understand a movie. I still talk to her and play with her, but it's so discouraging after years of not getting anything back. I mainly just snuggle with her on the couch while she plays with her tablet. It's one of the few ways we really bond. She likes toys and simple games on her tablet, so I buy her lots of them to keep her busy and hope that they keep her content so she isn't screaming and hitting herself. I see children much younger than her having full conversations with their parents and I get so jealous. I see them telling their parents they want burgers for lunch, or talking about a fun thing they want to do or whatever, and I can't even imagine how easy my life would be if she could just communicate simple things like that. It's so tough. I take her to the playground and the other kids ask why she won't talk or play with them. Pre-COVID days, we go out to the grocery store and she has a full meltdown and we have to leave our cart behind. We go out to eat and she can't sit still and wants to get up and run around the restaurant, so we have to leave. She's only getting bigger and taller and she's getting harder to manage. She hits herself and others. Sometimes she smears her poop all over the wall. She slams her head into the wall and furniture when she's frustrated, which is often, like multiple times a day. She broke a window with her head a few weeks ago and I was scared crapless she was going to need stitches, but luckily she somehow came out unharmed aside from a bruised forehead. I don't know how I am going to handle her when she is a teen and as big as I am. I don't like to think about it. If I knew this was going to be my life, I would have never had her. When I was pregnant, my husband and I agreed that if we found out the fetus was going to have Down syndrome or some other special needs, we would abort. You cannot detect autism in the womb. My husband and I have aged 20 years, we're overweight from stress eating, we're constantly on edge that she's going to give herself a concussion because she self-harms and we cannot stop it every time, we're sleep deprived, no sex life, our brains are fried from all the screaming and constant noise. We argue and are short-tempered with each other. We are empty shells of what we used to be. Imagine having a monkey on your back 24/7 that just screamed and hit you. It breaks a person. We've been in weekly therapy for years and I probably break down at least once a month during a session. I never ever thought we'd have a special needs kid. There's no family history, and as I said, I took amazing care of myself while pregnant. She was planned, my husband and I waited until we were financially stable to have her, we did everything right. We wanted more children but now have decided not to have any more because it would be too much stress. I mourn what could have been. I wonder all the time how my life would be if she was a typical kid. If you want to put yourself in the headspace of a parent who has a profoundly special needs child, watch the movie Vivarium. It's about a couple who get stuck in this weird suburb that they cannot escape and are forced to raise this strange alien childlike being until they die of exhaustion. It's an odd, science fiction alien/monster type of movie that's meant to be pure fantasy, but for me it was the realest movie I have ever watched. But even after all of that, I still love her so much and won't put her in a care center or in foster care. I'd be worried sick that she was being neglected or abused. When she's an adult, we're either going to turn our basement into a living space for her and hire an aide to help her, or we'll put her in an adult special needs home and visit her frequently to make sure she is okay. I just hate that it has to be this way. None of us deserve this life. If you see parents with special needs kids out at the store or mall or wherever, please just be patient and kind. I felt the same about mine until he turned 8. I'm not sure what clicked into place, but things are much better now. I hope things get better for you, too. Thank you so much. I still do cling on to some hope. I don't want to get too optimistic though, as more years go by and she still doesn't progress. I really hope something clicks with her one day too. Only time will tell. What were the signs that your child was progressing? Did they start to talk more? Or use the bathroom independently? I'm glad for you and hope that he continues to advance. He went from using one-word demands to full sentences, going to the restroom by himself instead of smearing his crappy diapers everywhere, still needed help wiping, and showing interest in what others were doing. You said yours is 6, right? She should qualify for speech and other school-based therapeutic services. If she's not been evaluated by her school yet, I would ask about augmented alternative communication, AAC, like a picture exchange communication system, PECS, or an electronic speech device. Having a more effective mode of communication may help to reduce the frequency of the more problematic behaviors. That's awesome. She is starting to repeat single words we say, echolalia, and can even tell you if she's stuck, I stuck, or if something is wrong with her toy, it's broken, lol. I'm very excited to read that your child went from being a poop smearer to now using the bathroom. We've tried to use the PECS board and electronic devices in the past, but she just presses the buttons over and over again and we end up losing the PECS pieces all over the house. I think she's just not ready for them yet, and I've talked to my husband about trying them again in a few years. Something I did for mine before we moved to a state that actually had accessible services was making a small PECS deck and keeping them on a keyring. I wore it on a lanyard. He's also hyperlexic, so I had everything in the house labeled like cabinet, bathroom, etc., and the contents inside. It was a pain in the ass labeling his food every time I brought home groceries, but I think it helped to bridge the gaps between functional and spontaneous speech. Ooh, that's a really good idea. I like the idea of labeling everything with a label maker. I think that might actually work for her. I hope it does. In the meantime, I'd suggest looking to see if the Autism Society has a local chapter near you. They offer support groups, service referrals, including respite care, and guidance for programs that help pay for those services. I've volunteered with my chapter for years and I'm getting ready to enroll mine in their Adult Transitions program. Not a parent, let alone one with special needs, but reading this exchange gave me hope. Thank you for being an amazing parent and a kind internet stranger. It's as if I can feel ops relief from your comments alone. You are amazing. From one mother to another, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. I know it's so hard. And I admire you for continuing to show up even though it's really hard to. Also, I love that you included that you had a perfect pregnancy. Lots of people like to assume that a child with issues like that must be due to something the mom did while pregnant. Absolutely not. It doesn't have to run in your family, either. This breaks my heart to hear, and I mean that empathizing for you. That possibility is one of the most terrifying things to me about having children. My cousin is pretty severely Down syndrome, her parents take incredible care for her, and she is by far their favorite child of 3. But I see their life and it's a nightmare in my eyes. She's opened car doors while driving before child locks were a thing and been dragged by her seatbelt a few feet once. She's drank motor oil from a Pepsi can while my grandfather changed his oil, and so many others. I don't think I would be capable of doing what you and your husband do, and it's admirable everything you pour into offering her the best you can. I send you as much positivity and love as I can, and I am so sorry this is the situation you ended up. My heart goes out to you. This post hit me hard, and I am not one to get emotional over Reddit posts. I just wanted to acknowledge your story since you put it out there. Life dealt you a very crafty hand. It is deeply unfair, but it seems like you are doing everything you can to make the best of it. Just know you have the admiration of an internet stranger, and I really hope things get better for you. I have custody of my sister's kids. I didn't want them. I already have 2 of my own. My sister's kids are not as well behaved as my children. It is very frustrating. I love them. I will protect them and take care of them. I find myself very upset by the fact that I just can't seem to love them as much as I just can't seem to love them as much as I just can't seem to love them as much as my children. It's depressing. I hate myself because I feel this way. I wish it was just my children a lot of the times. My sister's kids put a strain on my marital relationship because they act out so much. My sister is homeless and addicted to drugs, with really no hope of her getting better. Heroin sucks. I just wish it would go back to a family of 4. 6 is just too much for most things. Want a regular-sized vehicle with smaller monthly payments and lower insurance? Nope, got to have something that seats 6 or more. Holidays? Got to plan on a family size of 6 instead of 4. It's frustrating. I try so hard to not let my niece and nephew see that I struggle with this. But kids are smart and I know they pick up on this. I hate that I can't just be happy with this. At least for their sake. Can't talk to family about it. I'm this hero who took the kids so they wouldn't end up in foster care or group homes. But I'm really not a hero. I stepped up because no one else would, but I don't think I'm cut out for it. Edit. Thank you to everyone who responded with kind words. I didn't expect this to get so much attention. I saw an opportunity to vent and so I took it. I have had these kids for almost 7 years now. I love them and I will see this through until they are grown and on their own. I don't know any of you, but your kind words help. Thank you so much. Edit 2. For anyone wondering why I made a throwaway account for this post. My nephew and my son both have Reddit. They know my Reddit name and if they saw this, I would absolutely die inside. Hey, that is an incredible and selfless thing you are doing. I don't believe your feelings are your fault or even that they are wrong. I do think you should maybe talk to an experienced family therapist. They may be able to help both you and your sister's children. You're making the best of a bad situation. Don't beat yourself up because you're not perfect. Hang in there. A hero is someone who steps up when others don't. What you have done is amazing and I don't hand out praise often. Your kids won't resent you, they will understand with time. Your sister's kids will see what you have done for them in time. If you have any family who can support you, then reach out. 4 kids is a heavy weight and you cannot let your quality of life drop. Keep your marriage safe, your children safe and do your best with your sister's kids. As for their behavior, you will want to get them in line with your kids obviously through discipline, but they will always have the idea that their mom picked something else over them in their minds and could behave worse before they behave better. You sound like an amazing aunt/uncle. You are doing fine and I'm sure as your sister's children grow up they will become easier to deal with as they realize how lucky they are to have you. 2 hearts, 2 hearts. What do you think a hero is? It's someone that steps up when no one else will. Do not belittle the burden you have taken on to make sure your family members are taken care of. Feel it, be upset, and still know it is worth it. How could you sleep if you turned your back on them? You are doing an amazing thing and someday you will be free of the burden and they will love you forever. Much love to you, friend. My mom just forgot we existed and had another baby to keep her happy. I have 10 siblings. I grew up number 8 of 9 kids. My oldest sister was responsible for raising each and every one of us, and to this day, she resents our mom for stealing her childhood. My sister has told us stories where as newborns we'd cry and my mom refused to get up and get us. She waited until my sister, who was a full-time student, to get up and take care of us while my mom just continued to lay in bed. My mom knew she could continue to collect welfare as long as she had children in the house, so she prolonged her welfare dependence by having so many children. That's just messed up. Your sister sounds like a great person. She very well could have resented all of you people for her childhood, but she didn't because it wasn't your fault. At least I think she doesn't. I hope your sister escaped and is leading the life she wants. I weirdly know a number of women who've done this, kept having babies because they like babies, without regard to their ability to care for an entire child for years and years in the future. I'm sorry you were raised that way, it's abuse. I'm the oldest of 6, and my mom was raised in a religious cult that glorified large families, so she planned it that way even though her mental health wasn't that strong. I'm in my 30s and just starting to notice that some of the stuff from my childhood wasn't okay, or wasn't how things should be. This explains my mom even though she does not want to admit it. Wow. You made me realize why she kept having kids. I am the oldest of 12. Moved out ASAP so I won't raise any more of her kids. Edit. Thanks to a kind Redditor for correcting my English. I hate to make this comparison, but it's just like the people who adopt cute little puppies but surrender them once they grow into big dogs. No more cute and whimsical and photo op, and more maintenance and vet bills. Children and pets are long-term commitments. You don't get to only keep them for the tiny, innocent phase. You have to be prepared to do the work and love them through the bad days as much as the good. Yes, it is like that sometimes. I know a woman with 6 and she would have had more, but her husband absolutely put his foot down and got a vasectomy. She's not a horrible person exactly, but she's not a very good mom. She's not organized and doesn't have much patience, and it seems like she clearly hates her youngest child, who acts like a brat because of lack of parenting. Whenever I hear about my students with 5+ siblings, I worry about them. Some people can live and care for that many kids, but a lot just have several kids so they can babysit, do chores, etc. I feel like abuse and neglect risk is higher when in large families. I had a student with 13 siblings. He wasn't the oldest, but he was the oldest child in the household. He was responsible for his siblings, getting them to school, making sure they're fed, etc. He barely graduated high school. Parentification is abuse. I just wish we could do more about it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.